Yo, what's going on, everybody? With NBA free agency being a few days in, I wanted to come on here and rank some of the teams' moves and re-signing different players. So we have a couple of teams here who have made some big moves so far. First off, we got to start off with probably the biggest move, with the Houston Rockets picking up two players so far in Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks. So Fred VanVleet signed for a 3-year, $128 million contract, which is insane. That is a lot of money compared to Kyrie Irving. He's making a lot more money and with the Houston Rockets, and Dillon Brooks signed for 4-year, $80 million. So how would I rank this? I would rank this about a C-. Let me tell you why. So why is because Fred VanVleet has always been a very consistent player with the Toronto Raptors, dropping a consistent 19.3 points per game. But compared to Dillon Brooks, who really wasn't that big of a player until this offseason, with a lot of the publicity and a lot of the issues that comes with signing Dillon Brooks, a lot of the beef that he will start, that's not taking away from his game, because Dillon Brooks is a very good player. He dropped about 14.3 points per game. Obviously, he was really good for Memphis this year, but it kind of is on and off with Dillon Brooks. 1 year he's very consistent. The next year he's not really that consistent. I just see some consistency issues with Dillon Brooks, but I think he could be a very great forward for the Houston Rockets. I would rank this about a C- just because of the risk with Dillon Brooks, but doesn't take away from the players. Shout out to them and their families for great deals. So next I have the Memphis Grizzlies, who went up and select Derrick Rose, getting him on a 2-year, $6 million contract. So let's just get this out of the way. I'm not going to have a personal bias. I love Derrick Rose, from his run, and a very great team and a very great pickup for him. Derrick Rose is more going to be a mentor player on this team. He's going to put up his points. He's going to do his thing. He's an absolute dog. I love Derrick Rose. I'm not going to have my 2012 bias like everyone else would, saying he's probably one of the best players, obviously being the youngest MVP. But Derrick Rose is a very great player. Even though he rode the bench, he's 34 years old for the New York Knicks last year. He rode the bench, but he's always a great veteran player to have on your team. He can bail you out in different situations. He can make those shots, and also he's a great veteran and a great mentor, especially to young players like Ja Morant. Derrick Rose and Ja Morant have very similar games and very similar potential at both of their ages. Obviously, Derrick Rose was a little bit better than Ja Morant is now, and that's probably one of the best takes I've probably ever had. But if I had to rank this, I would rank this a B+ with the mentorship and the overall great moves by this team so far. So next, we have the Indiana Pacers picking up Bruce Brown from the Denver Nuggets on a 2-year, $45 million contract. So Bruce Brown pretty much got the ring and dipped, but a very great team. The Pacers are building a very great team with Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Serge Ibaka, George Hill, all those players, Benedict Mathurin, Obviously, you're going to have a great player in Bruce Brown who has that championship experience, who can come in and carry this team to a very great position in the conference next year. So if I had to rank this, I would rank this a very high and consistent B. So next we have Caris LeVert, who signed 2 years and $32 million with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Obviously, this is a re-sign. Caris LeVert dropped a consistent 12 points per game last year. A very great player on the Cleveland Cavaliers. So if I had to rank this re-signing, I would rank it about a because I love Caris LeVert as a player, and they already have a consistent core. Obviously, bringing him back is going to be a very great situational piece. So that is that ranking. So next we have the Brooklyn Nets, who went up and picked Cam Johnson for 4 years, $108 million with the Nets. Okay, so Cameron Johnson is a very, very great wing player. Obviously, probably one of the best wing players in the NBA. He has that experience playing in the playoffs, obviously, with the Phoenix Suns made that run in the finals. One of the great bailout players. If you ever need to pass to the corner, you can count on Cameron Johnson to hit the shot. And hey, getting a bag is really good with the Brooklyn Nets. Such a great team. Obviously, you have Cameron Thomas, Nicholas Claxton, all those big-time young players with a sort of veteran president, Cam Johnson. A really good defensive player, too, by the way. If I had to rank this for the Nets, I'm going to be ranking this a B+, a really good pickup for the Nets. So, next we have the Portland Trailblazers, who went and re-signed Jeremy Grant for 5 years, $160 million with the Portland Trailblazers. So this one is going to be a bad ranking for me. So my issue with this is you want to rebuild around Damian Lillard. Obviously, this is Damian Lillard narratives, and people are going to be mad about it, but that's totally fine. It's just my issue with this team is they commit to Damian Lillard and then said they're going to be rebuild around him, and they end up throwing a huge contract at Jeremy Grant, who's not going to get them a championship, who's not going to help Damian Lillard contend, and it's just not going to happen. So, obviously, this caused Damian Lillard to request a trade, and if I had to rank this, I'm ranking this a D. It's just not a great re-signing. Just for a team that's going to contend around their star player. If he leaves, then it's just going to be Scoot and Jermaine Grant. They're obviously not going to be great, but Scoot Anderson's going to be very good coming out. I'm not saying he's not going to be bad, but I'm saying they're not going to be a contender if they were to move some things and get a great core around Damian Lillard. It would be probably a really good team if they were able to, help Jermaine out and get him somewhere where he could actually contend for something instead of wasting his time on the Portland Trailblazers, because Damian Lillard is not going to end up staying, and basically they're not going to contend for anything. This was just a very bad pickup. So next we have the Golden State Warriors, who go back and signed Draymond Green, obviously one of the premier defensive players in this league, one of the biggest menaces for the year. Everyone was calling him Donkey, best of the decade. So he went and signed 4 years, $100 million with the Warriors. So obviously people were saying that he was not going to sign back. He was going to leave. He declined his player option. But the Warriors were like, hey, we kind of need you back. They traded Poole off. Great pickup. I mean, you got that veteran guy back. You got your person who runs the floor so well. One of the premier players in that championship run last year. I'm going to rank this, obviously, I'm ranking this one a B. Very great pickup for the Warriors, going back and picking up Draymond Green. He's obviously in the last few good years of his career. Great to get a good payday, especially for the last 4 years. Next, we have the Milwaukee Bucks, who pick up Chris Middleton on 3 years, $102 million. So Chris Middleton back to the Bucks is a very decent pickup. Milwaukee obviously getting eliminated last year, and Giannis having a ton of injuries, and Chris Middleton having a few injuries last year, but overall coming back and being able to play in the playoffs. A very great fatigue guy. He dropped about around 15 points per game last year. A very great and consistent guy behind Giannis, who could be the second man on the team and be fine with that. This is a very great pickup. I'm going to rank this around a A-. A really great pickup to go back and be able to get Chris Middleton, very big guy in that championship run a few years back. And if Giannis can get healthy and we can get Chris Middleton to run some of the things back in the playoffs, it would be very great for this team. This is definitely a A-. So next we have the Dallas Mavericks, who signed Kyrie Irving to 3 years, $126 million. So this is a very great pickup for the Mavericks, who have a guy who's not really a big commitment guy to stay on teams that we've seen for the past few years, where he says he's going to stay and then he ends up leaving. I love this pickup for them, being able to stay and keep some of the bigger players such as Kyrie. You got to love the pickup. This is probably one of my better ones. I'm going to give this one A because Kyrie Irving's such a great guy and is one of the best players from the last year. They could have made a run if they did not trade for Kyrie so late in the season, but that is going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you guys drop a sub to the channel if you guys want to see more videos like this, and I will catch you guys in the next one.